and let's see what else we've got on that record. Okay, the next section that you come across is a little drum and bass kind of break, which goes like this. So that's another note. Let's find out what that is. Okay, there's the tonal centre of that bass line. That's an E flat. So again, nothing to do with any of those other two. So I'm putting bass break in E flat. So there's quite a lot of information on this tune. It's going to affect the places that you mix it and what you mix it with, definitely with this tune, because there's so many options on it. I'm just going to have a listen to whether there's anything else on this record that is a different tonal centre again. Would you believe it? There's another section which is a sort of like a piano house kind of break. So this goes. Is the tonal centre of that. So that's another key. Do. Let's see what that is. Do. Okay, that's in the C sharp again. So yeah, we've got piano break in C sharp. I think that's it. I hope that's it. That's a complex enough tune to mix already. So there you have it, a slightly more demanding record, coming on strong, but we've done it, we've dealt with it, so that can go on the pile ready for mixing. Wonderful, and now I'm on to my next one. The next process is for me to go through that entire stack of records doing that, which obviously I'm not going to do on camera. It would take something like 2 hours to do. So I'll leave you with those two examples, and hopefully that's enough to see the technique in action, see how it's done, see how you're supposed to listen to the records. It depends entirely on what you're mixing actually as to how difficult or easy this process is. Some kinds of music are very locked into one tonal centre. Techno, for example, and trance are, generally speaking, just like on a specific riff right the way through musically. That develops, it's about synthesis and opening that riff up. Funky house as well. So quite often those are very, very easy styles of music to mix musically. You know, that's quite helpful. Soul, disco, and funk, some kinds of house music that are very much sort of song based as well. Again, fairly easy because they're so based on a musical key and a set of chord sequences. You might need to listen out for bridge sections, but generally speaking they'll operate far more on a tonal centre. Things that are more to do with sort of like sound effect and noise, so this old school for one, and drum and bass as well, is a lot harder to find tonal centres for. Sometimes it can be obscured because the sounds themselves are so strange that it's difficult to find a tonal centre. But hey, you know what they say, practice makes perfect. Right, here we have Exhibit A. This is the cycle of fifths. It's a diagram that you can pull up really easily on the web. You know, a quick Google search and you'll have one of these up within a couple of minutes. If you start at the top, we have C major and its relative minor A minor. And as you move clockwise round, you add sharps, so 1 sharp, 2 sharp, 3 sharp, 4 sharp, 5 sharp, and then 6 sharps. And as you move anti-clockwise, you get 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats, 5 flats, and then 6 flats. You'll notice 6 flats, 6 sharps down the bottom. They're actually the same key to listen to anyway. G flat major and F sharp major are the same key to listen to. They're the same to play. They're not the same to write. But we don't need to write music if we're key matching records, so we don't have to worry about that. The minors are quite often written on the inside of the circle. In this example, I've actually written the minors underneath the major key signature, because I've included the key signature, not just the letter names. So this is your ideal tool for seeing what keys go with each other. Now, quite obviously, 2 records in the key of, let's pick an example, E minor, are going to be the perfect mix, but you're not going to have an entire set in E minor. So what happens when you want to move to somewhere different? Well, you want to go one step, just one step away in either direction. So it's kind of like, you know, knowing your moves on a chessboard, I guess. So E minor will mix beautifully with B minor, and it will mix beautifully with A minor. Yeah, what it won't do is mix across the circle with F minor. B minor, F minor, bad mix. Really, really horrible musical clash. Just pick those at random. That happens to be a tritone away, which is the devil's interval. So need I say more? So when we've got all the records of the set compiled into their relevant keys, what we're then going to need is this diagram to help us sort of move around our set and figure out the perfect running order for the CD or the live set that you're playing. Well, a couple of hours later, or a couple of seconds for you guys who are watching, rather like being in Narnia, isn't it? Stepping out the wardrobe, 5 minutes have gone instead of 22 years. I've got the completed set, which you can see is a lot busier now than it was when we last took a look at it. You can see some heavy C sharp and heavy A flat activity. I feel like I'm doing the weather. No B flat. Weren't to know until we'd gone through all the records that there was going to be no B flat. It's the only key I haven't got something for, and there's always ways of getting out of it. Especially with this hardcore material, some of the other sections of other tunes do actually hit B flat, or they move into a different key that would mean that when I was going to need B flat, I won't need it anymore. If you really get stuck, you can go to places where it's just the beats, or you can use a beat record to get out of a really tight spot if you need to. So I'm ready to begin the set, ready to sort of like put the records in the order that I'm going to play them in. So where do we start? Well, you can actually start anywhere you like. At this stage now, we've got to think like DJs. Forget all the key matching. You've got to think, what's a good opening tune? How am I going to start this set? So let's have a think about it. Okay, well, I've reached my decision. I'm going to start this particular set with Go by Moby. Great tune, everyone knows it. Certainly people who were into the scene at the time will remember it well. It's a great opening tune, and also because it starts with quite a long extended period of completely unaccompanied strings. There's no hats, there's no drum beat of any description. It's very difficult to tightly mix anything that has absolutely no rhythm to guide you. So that's another good reason for starting with it. Okay, well, Go's in F. So if we consult the list, I'll just do that. Consult the list, see what else I've got in F. I discover that I have a DJ Trace B-side, I Ain't Gonna Wait No More. So that's the next obvious choice for the set. It's less well known, but another great tune. Certainly, again, people will remember it from back in the day. And the DJ Trace tune's got some awesome bleat work, as well as sort of like a sort of like 303 square bass kind of thing. So those two elements should work really nicely against the sort of the strings and piano work of Go. So let's find out. Okay, nothing to do with the key matching, but another big problem of mixing old school is that the entry points aren't really always right. There's like 5-bar loops and stuff where it should all be in groups of like 4, 8, 16, 32. So some things come in funny places. I'm not necessarily aiming for like a perfect mix here, but what I'm aiming to do is demonstrate how the elements work together. So I'll try and expose stuff so that you can hear the two tracks working together in key with each other. So anything could happen in the next 5 minutes.